Keep Walters in mind if you're looking for a place to book a private event in DC. Visit waltersdc.com/private events for more information.
NetCredit is here to say yes, because you're more than a credit score. Apply in minutes and get a decision as soon as the same day. Loans offered by NetCredit or lending partner banks and serviced by NetCredit. Application subject to review and approval. Learn more at netcredit.com/partners. NetCredit. Credit to the people.
1-0 to Rosario. Swinging a long drive. Left center field. Way back it goes. And it is long gone. Amed Rosario with his second homer of the year. It's a 3-run blast. And the Nationals take a 6-3 lead here in the 6th inning. Amed Rosario's had a huge night. A double, a 3-run homer, and 4 runs batted in.
Here's the pitch. Swinging a line drive. He's got a hit now. A base hit into left center field. This is going to score low. Rounding third. Coming home is Cole. He scores. Stopping at second is Dylan Cruz. And Riley Adams drives in his 4th and 5th runs of the year and breaks this game open a bit here at the top of the 8th inning. 2 runs home. And it's now the Nationals 10 and the Reds 4.
And welcome to Nats Chat, along with MASNsports.com Nationals insider Mark Zuckerman, who is at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. I'm Al Galdi, host of the Al Galdi podcast. So the Nats in MLB's 2025 regular season now are 15-19. They, over the 34 games, have totaled 147 runs. 92 of the 147 runs have come in the 15 wins. The Nats, over their 15 wins, are averaging 6.13 runs per game. The Nats, when they win, score quite a bit, and the Nats on Saturday night scored quite a bit. An 11-6 win at the Cincinnati Reds in Game 2 of a 3-game series, and in a game for which the start was delayed by rain for 22 minutes. You can find us on X at Nats_chat. You can find us on Blue Sky at Nats Chat Podcast. You can email the show, natschatpodcast@gmail.com. We have a website you could check out too, natschatpodcast.com, at which you could purchase a Nats Chat Podcast t-shirt. The Nats on Saturday night were outstanding offensively. 11 runs, 15 hits, which were a home run, 2 doubles, and 12 singles, 5 walks, 3 hit by pitches, 7 for 18 with runners in scoring position, 4 for 4 on stolen bases. The Nats in this game got on base a ton. Mark, quite the improvement from what the Nats did offensively in the 6-1 loss at the Reds on Friday night. These were like 2 different teams in terms of the Nats offensively.
Yeah, and I feel like this has been a recurring theme this year, where there are nights when it looks like they cannot do anything at the plate. But to their credit, they pretty much almost always come back the next night and look not just okay, but look really good, as they did in this one. I mean, that's 23 total batters reaching base over the course of 9 innings. That'll work for you in the long run. And they did it against a good pitcher in Nick Lodolo. They wore him down over the course of the night and really got to him in the 6th inning, getting to face him a 4th time, which you don't see a whole lot in today's game, a chance to face a starting pitcher that many times, but it worked to their benefit for sure by the time they got to the 6th inning. So it's not like they did this against some scrubs or anything like that. They just put together good quality at bats all night long and delivered when they needed to and kept it going. I think that's the other part, is that they didn't stop, and I don't know if that's a reflection of just feeling good at the plate, of not wanting to leave the game in the hands of their bullpen or what, but that was kind of refreshing that they kept scoring runs throughout the night to really make sure that this one was never in doubt.
Yeah, cannot emphasize this enough for those who did not watch the game. The Nats were on base a ton in this game. Every inning, you had ducks on the pond. Every inning, the Nats were doing something impressive offensively. This might have been the Nats' best offensive game of the season. I have to think about that. I mean, there have been some good ones, but this was highly impressive. You look at the Nats lineup in this game, the top 4 batters in manager Davey Martinez's lineup on Saturday night: C.J. Abrams, Amed Rosario, who says he shouldn't bat second, James Wood, and Nathaniel Lowe. Those 4 guys combined for 12 of the Nats' 15 hits. Some really big offensive outings from these guys. We had James Wood as the Nats' starting designated hitter and number 3 batter, 4 for 6 with a double and 3 singles, and he had a stolen base. Amed Rosario as the Nats' starting third baseman and number 2 batter, 3 for 6 with a 3-run homer, an RBI double, and a single. He did commit a fielding error, but he had some big hits in this game. He and the Nats' 1-run fourth had a 2-out RBI double to the left center field gap to tie the game at 3. Rosario in a Nats 4-run 6, a 1-out 3-run homer to left center for a 6-3 Nats lead. C.J. Abrams got on base 4 times. He is the Nats starting shortstop and number 1 batter, 2 for 4 with 2 singles, a walk, and a hit by pitch. And he had a stolen base. And Nathaniel Lowe, steady Eddie, he is the Nats starting first baseman and cleanup batter, 3 for 5 with 2 RBI singles, another single, and a walk. So he got on base 4 times in this game. But man, Abrams, Rosario, Wood, Lowe, 1 through 4, very impactful in this game.
You're right. And again, like sustaining it and good quality at bats. And even the outs were loud in a lot of cases. And I want to talk about Rosario in that regard. As you said, he batted second. Good matchup against Lodolo, as it turned out, because he starts the night with a line out to center field in his first at bat. Then he hits one to the warning track in center field in his second at bat. So you're thinking, okay, he's kind of got this guy timed up. It feels like this is going to fall in there for him at some points. What happens? His third at bat, rocket of a double to the gap in left center, brings home a run, and then he gets to face Lodolo a 4th time. And I kind of was questioning Terry Francona's strategy at that point. You've seen what he has done to you. You've got 2 men on base in what is still a tie game at this point, 3-3 in the 6th. He lets Rosario face him a 4th time, and what does he do? 3-run homer to center, and it was a no-doubter. That's a good night for a veteran hitter who clearly had something going right for him against that particular pitcher. And even though he didn't have the results to show for it the first 2 times up, stuck with the plan. And by the 4th time, he had seen everything Lodolo had to throw him and pounced on a changeup and hit it out of the park. He
was really good. I mentioned James Wood with his 4-hit night. Wood, for this regular season now, number 1 among all qualified Nats players in OPS at .931. The James Wood slash line, .273 batting average, .384 on base percentage, .547 slugging percentage. And while he didn't necessarily have a big game offensively, Riley Adams, so he was the Nats starting catcher and number 8 batter, 1 for 5. The one was a 2-run single, but 2 for 3 on runners trying to steal. A rare off night for Keibert Ruiz, and Riley Adams showing for himself quite well in this game, offensively to an extent, but especially defensively.
Yeah, he's now 3 for 7 on throwing runners out this year. And the ones he hasn't gotten, they've, for the most part, been good, strong throws. He has made some real strides there, and that's been nice to see. I know we focus on the offense, and it was good to see him deliver that 2-run single for kind of some insurance late in the game, but they've told him, and he said it himself, his number 1 priority as the backup catcher is defense. And if he can become better at throwing runners out and making that a real big part of his game, that makes a difference. He shut them down. A very good Cincinnati Reds team from a running standpoint, as we know. They're right up there with the Nats in terms of attempting stolen bases, among the best in the league. So 2 great throws from him tonight. And I sense a recurring theme here with him. He's not playing a lot, but he's trying to make the most of those opportunities when he does. And that doesn't just have to be at the plate. You can do a lot behind the plate as well.
So you just said the phrase that pays, he's not playing a lot. We've had this conversation before about Keibert Ruiz, who plays a ton. And he this season is playing a ton again. Do you think Adams playing well might get him some more playing time and might get Keibert Ruiz to get some more rest? Or do you think this is just the way that it is with Keibert Ruiz? For whatever reasons, he plays a ton and he's going to continue to play a ton no matter what.
I think it's part of the equation. I do think, number 1, it's a belief that Keibert Ruiz is a workhorse behind there, that he is the clear number 1 catcher, that he's an important part of this team for a variety of reasons. And so as long as he's healthy, he's going to play, a lot, probably more than you would think the average number 1 catcher would. But I do think that part of what we've seen here so far is also a reflection of Keibert getting off to a good start himself, but also the lack of a whole lot else going on from your backup. So the fact that Adams now in his last 2 starts had the big home run during the homestand, now the big 2-run single, in addition to the good defense, I could see that tipping the scales a little bit. I don't think it's going to change a lot, but maybe if those, that question of, am I going to play Ruiz on a 4:00 game instead of sitting him? Maybe in this case, you do go to Adams instead. I think he's going to get starts against lefties when possible. So there's that. I also think that, and we've discussed this, the way the schedule is set up, there are more off days built into April. So yes, Ruiz is playing a ton, but the team had off days, and so he was getting some kind of rest there. Now they're in a stretch where they play a lot more, as we have discussed. So I think it sort of forces you to have to play Adams more. Clearly, he was going to get one in this series. I would imagine he'll get one game in the Cleveland series as well before the team has another off day.
Yeah, that next off day, scheduled anyway, is coming up this Thursday.
LinkedIn Jobs is here to help small business owners with that crucial step of making the right hires. LinkedIn makes it easy to post your job for free, share it with your network, and get qualified candidates you can manage all in one place. Here's how it works. Simply post your job, and LinkedIn's new feature can help you write job descriptions and then quickly get your job in front of the right people with deep candidate insights. You can either post your job for free or pay to promote it, and promoted jobs get 3 times more qualified candidates. Find out why more than 2.5 million small businesses use LinkedIn for hiring today. Find your next great hire on LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/natschat. That's linkedin.com/natschat to post your job for free. linkedin.com/natschat. Terms and conditions apply.
I'm excited to tell you about the designs Homage has cooked up for the 2025 MLB season. If you're as baseball obsessed as I am, you'll love the full roster of major league looks from Homage. Amazing comfort and deep cut designs that help fans show off passion for their favorite teams. Homage has a massive selection that tells the story of the greatest sport from its very beginnings. Deep logo history, coast-to-coast stadium tours, and the biggest players from every era. Legends never die at Homage. If you need your new shirt for going to a ball game, Homage has you covered with its most comfortable fan clothing, and it's available for fans of all ages. This year's collection hits dinger after dinger after tater after tater. Fleece, tees, bottoms, and more. And don't forget to check out the new starter jacket lineup, an iconic dugout look you don't want to miss. Heroes get remembered, but legends never die, and these looks go long, period. Check out the Homage MLB collection to find your team's coolest gear.
NetCredit is here to say yes to a personal loan or line of credit when other lenders say no. Apply in minutes and get a decision as soon as the same day. Loans offered by NetCredit or lending partner banks and serviced by NetCredit. Application subject to review and approval. Learn more at netcredit.com/partner. NetCredit. Credit to the people.
Planning a trip this year? Travel smarter and connect deeper by learning the local language with Rosetta Stone. With over 30 years of experience, Rosetta Stone's immersive, intuitive method helps you live the language, not just memorize it. Choose from over 25 languages, including Spanish, French, Japanese, and more. Their true accent speech recognition technology gives real-time feedback to help perfect your pronunciation. No translations, just natural learning that builds from words to phrases to full conversations. Whether you have 5 minutes or an hour, you can learn anytime on desktop or mobile. Get a lifetime membership and unlock all 25 languages. Learn as much as you want, whenever you want. Rosetta Stone. Learn confidently. Connect authentically. Don't wait. Unlock your language learning potential now. Listeners can grab Rosetta Stone's lifetime membership for 50% off. That's unlimited access to 25 language courses for life. Visit rosettastone.com/pod50 to get started and claim your 50% off today. Don't miss out. Go to rosettastone.com/pod50 and start learning today.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Chafin holds. Staring at the runner. Now he delivers. Swing and a miss on a ball in the dirt. Adams has to pick it up. He steps into fair territory. Throws on to first to complete the strikeout. Andrew Chafin, in his Nationals debut, records back-to-back strikeouts, getting the Nationals out of the 6th inning.
The Nats starting pitcher in this 11-6 win at the Reds on Saturday night was Trevor Williams, and he had another rocky outing. Williams in this game, 4 runs in 5 1/3 innings. He gave up 9 hits, which were a home run, a triple, a double, and 6 singles. He issued 2 walks. He recorded 4 strikeouts. He threw 87 pitches, 55 strikes versus 32 balls. You know, we had seen not that long ago what we called like vintage Trevor Williams outings. You go back to the Nats' 1-0 loss at the Pittsburgh Pirates on April 17th, 1 run, 5 innings, 5 strikeouts. Okay, the 4-3 win over the Orioles at Nationals Park on April 23rd, 1 run, 5 innings, 5 strikeouts. Okay, but then after that, the Nats' 19-5 loss to the New York Mets at Nationals Park this past Monday. Williams in that game officially allowed 5 runs in 5 1/3 innings, and then he did as he did in this game on Saturday night. Here's the bottom line. Trevor Williams is not having a good season. I mean, there have been a few starts here and there that have been good, but Williams for this regular season now, 7 starts, ERA 5.86, whip 1.61. This is not good.
No, he's been fortunate in that there have not been a lot of big blasts. It's been mostly singles. So that has, I think, kept it from being worse. But in this case, your teammates give you a 2-0 lead before you even take the mound. And almost instantly you give them right back. And then you give up another one in the second, and now you're trailing. Now, to his credit, he settled in, got through the 5th without giving up anything else. And I kind of thought, even though the pitch count was only 79, I thought to myself, that might be it for him. Going through 5 innings, kept him in the game. I think it was a tie game now at that point. No reason to push that. And Davey did let him come back for the 6th. And what happened? He gave up a home run to cut into the deficit somewhat. Then another single, and all of a sudden he's out of the game, and Andrew Chafin is making his Nationals debut. So, like, I understand this balance of, hey, he's a member of the rotation. You want to push him a little more. He had thrown 99 pitches each of his last 2 starts, so it's not like he physically can't go longer. But we've noted before that he seems to be most effective right around the 5-inning and 80 pitch mark. And in this case, they extended him beyond that mark, and it didn't hurt them in the long run, but it put a little more of a sour note on his start. He could have ended this and you said, all right, hey, he got through 5, giving up 3 runs. All right, he battled his way through that, gave him a chance to win. And instead, it looks a little less than that. And I'll be curious to see how they proceed moving forward. And as we discussed the other night, Michael Soroka seems to be ready to come back now. What's the move there? If you're just going to base it on performance and nothing else, Trevor Williams has been their least effective of the current starting pitchers. Brad Lord has earned the right to stay in the rotation ahead of Trevor Williams. Do I think it's going to work that way at this point in the season? Probably not, unless there's some kind of injury. The veteran on the 2-year contract is going to get the benefit of the doubt more than the rookie who's in the big leagues for, the first month of his career.
Normally there's not a lot of drama when the Nats on a Sunday announce their probables for the next series in terms of starting pitchers. I think it's going to actually be interesting on Sunday what the Nats announce. If Soroka is going to pitch in this upcoming home series against the Cleveland Guardians, I know usually the way the teams do it is it's a TBA for the day on which the returning pitcher is going to start. If you had to guess right now, do you think we get a TBA? In other words, do you think Soroka will be back for that Guardians series?
I could see them kind of getting both ways with this, which would be you make Lord your pitcher for Wednesday and then hold off for the following weekend and maybe give Soroka a few extra days. I could see that possibility. They might just come right out and do the TBA thing, leaving it open-ended, and then they can decide. But I've been wondering if they might find a way to stretch this out a little bit, give Lord another start, especially after the last one was so good, and almost like wait to see how that goes before you finally decide how you want to proceed.
Well, that would be interesting because that would almost be like Lord's last stand, like one final opportunity to make his case to stay in the rotation. So we might have some Nats rotation drama against the Guardians at Nationals Park this coming week. The Nats bullpen in this 11-6 win at the Reds on Saturday night. 4 Nats relievers combined to allow 2 runs, 1 earned in 3 2/3 innings. The highlight of the night from a Nats bullpen perspective was the Nats debut of the, shall we say, colorful Andrew Chafin. And he did well. He in the bottom of the 6th faced 2 batters and generated 2 swinging strikeouts. Did issue a wild pitch, but great to see Chafin get off to a very nice start in his Nats career. Jose A. Ferrer, we saw good Ferrer. He tossed a scoreless bottom of the 7th with 2 strikeouts. Jackson Rutledge allowed 1 run, unearned in 1 inning, which was the bottom of the 8th. Eduardo Salazar allowed 1 run in 1 inning, which was the bottom of the 9th. But with Chafin, so he looks good. You guys got a chance to talk to him the other day, and safe to say that the quotes and the experience of talking to Chafin lived up to expectations.
This guy is straight out of Central Casting. We talked about it the day they signed him and making the comparisons of who he reminded us of. He is exactly who you think he is, and then some. This is a true character, and he is no nonsense. He is, I think what stands out that's, what's funny about it is like he came in and he said he didn't know anything about this team. He didn't really care to know anything about the team. He views his job is, give me the ball, I'm going to come in and do my job, and I'll figure out the rest along the way. Very self-deprecating when somebody asked him how he's been so durable to make 600 appearances in his career. He says with a little smirk, he says, well, you can't pull fat. And it takes a second for that to sink in, and you realize what he's saying about himself there. He clearly felt like he deserved to be in the big leagues. He was not happy that he was pitching at AAA and jumped at the opportunity when the Nats called to put him out there. And we talked to him after this game, and he said this felt like where he is supposed to be, pitching in a big league game in a stadium that has 3 decks and seats all the way around the park, as he described it. That's all great, but here's the most important thing. He came in and he recorded 2 strikeouts in what was still a close game. Effective slider, good stuff from him. Hopefully he can be a stabilizing force for them. And hopefully, he learns some of the guys' names here before too long.
Well, I like it also that he said that he didn't know what the Nats record was. Like, he really didn't have a sense for where they were in the standings. I mean, that's pretty funny. And I don't think he was kidding. I think he was serious when he said that.
Yeah, no, 100%. I don't think he had any idea. We were joking, and I hope this isn't true, but when he came into the game in the press box, we're joking, saying, do you think he knows the name of his catcher right now? And we all thought there's probably a decent chance he has no idea what Riley Adams' name is or who he is, but he pitched well with them. He worked well. Maybe he'll learn his name now after that.
Well, he definitely doesn't know all the names of everyone on the team. I think, life on the line, there's no way he could name all of his teammates right now. That's for darn sure. And to add to the mythology of our new favorite Nationals reliever, Andrew Chafin, our guy Tim Shover's got a text from a longtime loyal listener of this podcast, the great Rabbi Eric Fussfield. Now, we noted in our conversation about Andrew Chafin the other day that he looks like a character from the all-time great movie Office Space, Lawrence, the construction worker next-door neighbor of the main character in the movie Peter. Lawrence was played by an actor named Dietrich Bader. Dietrich Bader is from this area. He's from Alexandria, Virginia. He went to T.C. Williams High School. It turns out that the rabbi, Eric Fussfield, went to T.C. Williams High School with Dietrich Bader. And according to the rabbi, Dietrich won senior class president with a beatboxing campaign speech to a rousing ovation. So there's so much to unpack from that. But the fact that the rabbi went to high school with Lawrence from Office Space, I mean, I don't know that we've ever had a greater revelation in the 5-year history of this podcast than that.
I almost didn't believe it was true. I was thinking it had to be a prank. Like, there's no way that we just made that connection, that by you happening to mention a character from a movie that you thought reminded you of the new pitcher they got, that it turns out it's played by an actor who grew up in the area, and that one of our most loyal listeners went to high school with him, and not just any loyal listener, but a rabbi would have gone to high school with this actor who ends up playing that role. It was too good to believe that was even true. That is a remarkable connection, a remarkable story. And as I said, now that we've gotten to meet Andrew Chafin a little bit, he has absolutely got some Lawrence in him, for better or for worse. Let's just hope that when he does his interviews, especially the ones on camera, that he is able to control himself enough to make sure he doesn't say anything that's going to get himself in trouble.
Well, I think the Nats need to reunite the rabbi with Dietrich Bader and maybe do like a 3-way conversation, the rabbi, Bader, and Chafin. I think that there's some sort of a podcast there or something that can be done to make something that's pretty entertaining. By the way, when it comes to the most colorful relievers in Nationals history, I was trying to think of who wears that championship belt. I was a big fan of Todd Coffey and the running out to the theme music of The Ultimate Warrior. I always got a kick out of that. Chafin may take the cake. We'll see. I mean, he just got here. But when you think about the most colorful relievers in Nats history, who most comes to mind?
Yeah, those are good ones. Hunter Harvey had his, shtick, his country boy that he had going on go all the way back to 2005. Another left-hander, maybe something about lefties. Joey Eishen was an intense guy, but also could say some lines that just had you dying with laughter or shaking your head. And I can't believe he just said that kind of thing. There's something about being a reliever, and especially being a left-handed reliever, that you almost have to be a little bit crazy, I think, because you see this a lot. And I don't think it's an accident that some of these guys who thrive in that role are a little off kilter and have some personality that you just don't see on other positions on a baseball team.
Well, I don't think you can be high strung and be a successful reliever because game in, game out, you don't know if you're going to pitch. So imagine the stress, right? If you are high strung and every game, you don't know if you're going to pitch in the game. I mean, imagine the anxiety you would be feeling every game, 3 hours per game. Like, that's just untenable. So you have to be kind of laid back. You're out in the bullpen for the majority of the game, talking about who knows what with who knows who. Yeah, I mean, it does make sense that some of these guys maybe have a screw or more loose.
Had another name that I just thought of. Fernando Rodney's one of the all-time crazy relievers, and he was a closer and a long-time successful one. He was pretty unbelievable. The quick Fernando Rodney story, he, for a brief period there, had to close a couple games in 2019 when Sean Doolittle was hurt, and I think before they had acquired Daniel Hudson. And he gets the save. We're on the road somewhere, requested to talk to him, and he says to the PR person, but we can hear him, he says, "I don't talk on Thursdays." And we're thinking like, well, you don't talk on Thursday. What are you talking about? And then somebody pointed out, actually, it's Wednesday. And he says, oh, okay, come on over then. So, I mean, this guy had a few screws loose. He may still be pitching at this point in the Dominican or somewhere in parts unknown. I mean, that guy's going to pitch until his arm falls off completely.
Outstanding. Well, Andrew Chafin, welcome to the Nats, and we hope you are here for as long as you want to be here, and we hope that you continue to pitch well, and he did pitch well in this game on Saturday night. So we have Game 3 for the Nats at the Reds, Sunday afternoon at 4:10. It is a later than normal start in terms of a Sunday afternoon game. MacKenzie Gore will be the Nats starting pitcher, so a chance to get the series win here. And then, like we said, you got the 3-game series coming up against the Cleveland Guardians in Nationals Park, Monday through Wednesday. We have had weather impacting each of the first 2 games of this series so far. We'll keep our fingers crossed and hope for the best for Sunday's Game 3.
At last check, while it is supposed to rain overnight and throughout the morning, hopefully affecting the Flying Pig Marathon, I think it is supposed to be cleared up by the afternoon. And so in a weird way, having a 4 o'clock start planned all along because of the marathon may help them out in the end. A 1 o'clock start might have been a little iffier. So even though it means that we're going to be here a little later than you would normally on a Sunday, it might actually be their best shot of getting this in. And, all things considered, we had a rain delay. Both of these 2 games have been delayed at the start. But all things considered, they played the 9 innings with no more interruptions. They've handled it pretty well, all things considered. It could have been a lot worse.
You tell us what you think. Hit us up on X at Nats_chat. You can find us on Blue Sky at Nats Chat Podcast. You can email the show, natschatpodcast@gmail.com, including if you would like to send a shout out to a listener of this podcast, a get well soon wish, a happy birthday wish, a congratulations, a hello, whatever you want. Email Tim Shovers. Again, that email address, natschatpodcast@gmail.com. Nats Chat is on the radio Sunday morning, 9 to 10 on ESPN Richmond, which is 106.1 FM in the Richmond, Virginia area, and Sunday morning, 9 to 10 on Priority Sports Radio, 94.1 in the Virginia Beach area. All Nationals radio highlights on Nats Chat are courtesy of 106.7 The Fan. For Mark Zuckerman, I'm Al Galdi. We thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you next time on the Nats Chat Podcast.
Right side, Zimmerman to his right. Makes a nice play. And Fernando Rodney, 42 years old. Doesn't worry about the leadoff walk. 8-2 Nationals after 7 in Game 2.